tybro.com, look under Special Sales, and get your copy of Spiritus, the Book of Breathings, today.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. Another drop in the price of oil, falling to a 9-month low today, brought energy company stocks lower, taking the major averages down as well. The Dow today down 62, the Nasdaq down 51, and oil now just above $43 a barrel. A lot of retailer stocks fell today, too. That's after Amazon unveiled its latest money-making venture. It's called Amazon Wardrobe. You order clothes to try on at home, send back what doesn't fit or whatever you don't like for free. But McDonald's shares, they hit an all-time high. That's on plans to replace cashiers with machines, which prompted an analyst upgrade. And Sprint shares were higher on renewed merger talks with rival T-Mobile. Ford building a new Ford Focus plant in China, not Mexico, as first planned. Uber wants to treat drivers better, so now it's allowing riders to tip them with just a tap on their smartphone apps. I'm Tom Busby, CNBC.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
Oh, a middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
NBC News Radio, I'm Tom Roberts. President Trump is condemning the brutality of the North Korean regime. Trump tweeted today that the U.S. continues to mourn the latest victim of North Korea. That's a reference to the death of American college student Otto Warmbier. White House spokesman Sean Spicer says the U.S. and allies will continue putting economic and political pressure on North Korea.
We've had, I think, positive movement on China over the past 5 months of this administration, and we'll continue to work with them and others to put the appropriate pressure on North Korea to change this behavior.
Meanwhile, Spicer says President Trump clearly wants a health care bill that has heart. The president has been reported as saying the House health care bill is mean. The Senate is now working on its own bill. Today's explosion at Brussels Central train station is being considered as a terrorist attack by Belgium's federal prosecutor. A suspect was neutralized by soldiers, although it's unclear if he was killed. Euro News editor James Franey says the situation could have been much worse.
Would have been pretty busy with people finishing their working day and heading back to other parts of Belgium throughout the course of the evening.
There were no reported injuries to civilians in the incident. The polls are closing in a closely watched special election in Georgia. Both Democrats and Republicans are looking to see if a House seat which has gone red for decades will turn blue. Democrat John Ossoff is challenging the GOP's Karen Handel. This woman was among many who voted today.
Because there's been so much publicity and there's been a lot of campaign and a little slander on each side. And I think the real issue is that people need to get out and vote.
The top cop in L.A. backs California's so-called sanctuary state bill. The bill would prevent California law enforcement officers from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. Police in Argentina say they've seized a huge stash of Nazi artifacts. That after a raid at a home in Buenos Aires where a secret room was found. Everything from busts of Adolf Hitler to Nazi-themed children's games and medical instruments were discovered. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station, where your business comes first.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side, where the birds and the bees survive. Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature's side?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone. This is Smart Health Talk Radio Show, and I'm your host, Elaine McFadden. In case you're interested, I'm a registered dietitian with a master's in public health, and about 40 years ago, I was selling organic produce out of an old Suburban truck. And the reason I was selling organic produce is because I started learning 40 years ago about how risky pesticides on food were, and I never in my mind could understand why we were poisoning our food. And then as the years passed and I started to learn more and more about just how harmful these pesticides are to everything, us, our babies before they're even born, our environment, our food that we're eating, does it have nutrition in it and added poisons or not? The environment, our air, our water, our soil, our climate, our planet, just the ocean, our, all of these things, our future supplies of seafood. Are we going to be able to feed 7 billion people that are now on this planet? And in case you didn't know, to me, population should actually be one of the most important topics that we're talking about right now. Not the latest shenanigans of celebrities or even things that are wasting our time coming from the White House and so on. And in case you missed our past shows, the one that we had last week, which was the 13th, and then the show on May 30th, we talked about health care with Zach Culver. It's a hard last name to say. And he is an expert because he's worked for all of these different nonprofits and had to do all this research on healthcare as part of his job. And he was able to deliver a very, very important message. And of course, our videos, our podcasts are all up on the KCAA radio.com website. You can tune in live on our website. You can be listening to us on the radio on AM or FM. Like, how cool is that? 1050 AM, we got 106.5 FM and 102.3 FM. And then, of course, you can go to KCAA radio, but you can also call 832-999-1050 and listen on a phone line if you don't have the internet. So none of that should stop you from listening to Smart Health Talk every week. That's right. Download that podcast. Download that podcast. Download that podcast. As a matter of fact, download lots of previous podcasts, because I tell you, every show, there's no doubt in my mind there's going to be something in there that you have not heard before. What I'm talking about on the show is new to me. And I have to be on top of the latest research that's coming out so that I can bring you guys the best information. That's what we want. And we are bringing you the kind of stuff. You're not hearing this on TV. And you know why? Because of sponsors. Yes, sponsors with big money. Drug companies, drug companies, that's like every other commercial, and only us in New Zealand are even allowed to show drug advertisements on television. No other countries allow it, only those two. And so these sponsors have a lot of power. They don't want the news talking bad about them. Well, speaking of the drug company, it turns out that what is our number one killer now of people under 50 years old? What do you think it is? Well, if you said prescription drugs, you'd be right on, because that is now our number one killer. And people keep talking about, things like marijuana, which is an alternative to the very thing that are killing people, where we have marijuana, which, hey, deaths marijuana, 0. Deaths prescription drugs, millions. Okay? Why aren't we talking more about what these drugs are doing and the drug epidemic in this country? This is so serious, people. Where, in my mind, drug companies, they don't care. Retail market, black market. They don't care either way. How their drugs get out there, get to people, get them hooked on them, because they're going to go to a doctor and try to get a prescription, first of all, when people are addicted. And then it's only after they can't get it from the doctor anymore that they're turning to the black market. But either way, works for the drug companies. They just want addicts. They just want people wanting their drugs. And I tell you, there is, I think I had closed it up here. I had those stuff printed out, and I think I left it at home. Let's see, where did I put that? Something that I was very, very surprised to find out is that actually a lot of pesticides, a lot of drugs actually started off as pesticides. And it's just amazing to me. And it's not really amazing because I did my homework. I studied these big corporations. I went through hundreds, like BASF, one of the biggest pesticide, drug, chemical companies in the world. When you look at what kind of products that they make, it is amazing to me that mostly what they'll make is, these different chemicals used in all different kinds of products. It could be like a car part, or a chemical used in a reaction for some big industrial kind of purpose. And what they have figured out to do is, oh, hey, we're using these chemicals for manufacturing all these other things, and hey, couldn't we use this and make some sort of a drug that we could give to people too? And it is so the thing is they're mass producing these chemicals. And so then what they're doing is they're like figuring out, oh yeah, we could use this as, something we could sell for, how about an antacid? And BASF makes Tums. One of the few products that are like, people are using and like putting in their body, because they make the chemical that's in Tums, they use it for all kinds of other products. And, just like Coumadin, for example, warfarin, that's used as a blood thinner. Okay, well that actually started as a rat poison. And there's several other examples, like the sulfur, I can't remember exactly how to say it, but there's a whole groups of pesticides that are used in a widespread way that are also used as drugs. And I'm going to keep, unfortunately, because my printout is not with me, not really finding it here. One big thing in the news that I thought was really interesting is they're actually working to create ethanol from carbon dioxide. This would mean, do you know that we are actually farming millions of acres of farmland to grow GMO corn for ethanol, to add that to our gasoline? And we're having to import. Demand for organic is so high, and we have so little organic agriculture in this country that we are now having to import massive amounts of organic products because we are not making them here in the U.S. This is crazy. The same with hemp. Industrial hemp is used for so many things. I mean, paper to concrete. There's like a million uses for industrial hemp. What they use for trees, except for like building a house, and where you would use it to like build something because you need a big chunk of lumber. All these other products that we make, like paper and that, it all can be made with hemp. And hemp, you get a full crop of hemp in 3 months. How long does it take to grow a tree? We have 5.8 million acres up in Oregon that are owned by the Timber Association, timber companies, and they are aerial spraying all kinds of pesticides. The worst of the worst pesticides. They can spray whatever they want. There are people that live by there, okay? There are people that are being exposed to these pesticides. What about all of the living things in the forest? Now they want to have GMO trees. GMO trees, as you know, GMOs, and people forget this, not only is it sprayed with Roundup glyphosate, which now in California, in case you have not heard, is on the Prop 65 list as a cancer-causing chemical. That's right, cancer-causing. And a lot of people don't know this. Do you know a landscaper? Do you know someone that is constantly using Roundup in their job? That person is at high risk. There are thousands of people that have filed lawsuits against Monsanto for cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, kidney cancer, all different kinds of cancer as a result of being exposed to Roundup on a regular basis. So if you know anyone that was exposed to a lot of Roundup, has cancer, I hope that they are getting in on these lawsuits. And if you know anyone that is using these products, please let them know that now every product has to have a cancer warning on it. And if you are using this around your home, around your family, around your pets, please stop. It's not only killing that, but it's killing our butterflies, our bees, our beneficial insects. And I'm so incredibly sad because the monarchs that I raised by hand from caterpillars were visiting my yard every day, and then they just disappeared. So I was hoping that I was going to get caterpillars, eggs and caterpillars on all the milkweed that I have, but unfortunately, not one. And we started with 7 monarchs that we released in my backyard. If you tune in to KCAA radio or watch our video on Ustream or after the show on Ustream, which if you type in, just go to the KCAA website and you can see where there's a drop down where you can choose videos, or you can just click on Ustream and just keep looking through until you get to 4 o'clock on Tuesday and find Smart Health Talk show. But, the milkweed is something that we really, really need more of, and we need more people to stop spraying pesticides. Unfortunately, farmers are also doing it, and I did find a local story about a person in Redlands, and this was even a few years ago, that had cancer, and they know that they sprayed Roundup over and over again around the citrus trees in our area, get rid of the weeds. I've looked at the reports on where the pesticides are being sprayed in our county, and it is extremely disturbing, very, very disturbing, because it's being done right around our schools, right in our parks, our dog parks, in our residential areas. And so we're spraying, wasting millions of acres growing GMO corn for ethanol. And this group over in I'm pretty sure it's Stanford. Stanford. They are figuring out a way to use copper and putting these microbes on or molecules on the copper in a certain way that they're going to be able to create ethanol totally clean out of carbon dioxide. And we'll be able to use it in our gas and all kinds of other ways. And guess what? We can say, bye-bye, GMO corn for ethanol, which is insane that we're even doing this to begin with. It is so inefficient. Instead, we should be using all our trash. We're throwing out 40% of the food that we grow. Why are there people starving in this country? Why are we spending billions of dollars over in Syria, dropping bombs, trying to start a war with Russia? What is our motivation? Why can we not have health care for Americans, but we can go and spend all this money in Syria? What is the motivation, people? Ask yourself. The motivation is oil. We are doing this to protect U.S. interests. Otherwise, why are we over there? Are those people the ones that, took down the Twin Towers on 9/11? No, that's Saudi Arabia, the one that we just did a multi-billion-dollar arms deal for. The very country that was harboring the terrorists that attacked us. And yet do we have a ban on Saudi Arabia? I doubt that, because we're all in tight with them. And I don't know if you saw The Last Vice. They did a really great job on talking about how fast food restaurants are going over to Yemen and these other Muslim countries, and just all kinds of them. They have no bars there. It's illegal to even have any alcohol. It's illegal. So what are they doing? They're all like hanging out at the fast food place, and they're all getting very, very fat. And so is this our plan? This is our plan of attack. We're just going to kill all these people with heart attacks and fast food, I guess. But I tell you, it's a really good lesson for us. These people were healthy before we stepped in. Big news, the European Parliament has voted for a ban on the use of pesticides and herbicides in ecological focus areas. These are areas where they're using clover as a ground cover to create nitrogen for the soil. And why would you? You're growing clover to create a fertilizer. Why do you need to spray clover with pesticides? You're killing the microbes in the soil that you're trying to feed with the clover, and you're just going to spray pesticide on it and kill it? I just say, woohoo! Hey, thank you, everyone. They had made an agreement where they said, oh yeah, we're going to allow the pesticides, and at the last minute they changed their mind and said, no, we're not. I just really want to applaud every single person on that European Parliament committee that voted to not allow these pesticides in ecological focus areas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a new study came out, organic food is healthier because vegetables grown without pesticides have higher antioxidant levels. If you want to know why that happens, I can explain it to you because I am a dietitian. I will be able to tell you this stuff. Okay, this is how it goes, and it's a really cool story, everyone. You're going to want to stick around for this one. Okay, because this is all about your food. Yeah, the food. You know, food that gives you life, that sustains your body, that prevents disease. And what is one of the biggest things that help to prevent disease? Antioxidants. Fiber is really important too. And I'll get to why the fiber is important. But first of all, antioxidants. What are they? How are they made? How do we get them in our body so they can start protecting us against disease? Well, first you want to choose the foods that have the most. And you think, oh, I just go to the produce section down in the supermarket and I'm going to buy these great fruits and vegetables and they're going to have all kinds of antioxidants in them. Well, no. Why do you think Smart Health Talk is so much for organic? That study right there was a perfect example. And, you know, the thing is, antioxidants are really tricky. Okay? First of all, how are they made? Okay? Well, the plant has to be stressed before it makes antioxidants. Antioxidants are a way that the plant protects itself from invaders. So just think about that. If we have really healthy plants that have lots of antioxidants in them, not only are we getting lots of antioxidants, but the plant is super healthy. And that means the bugs aren't going to attack it because bugs only want to attack unhealthy plants. And unfortunately, because the soil is dead in conventional farming, pesticides kill the microbes, the worms, and everything good in the soil that creates nutrition, makes it available to the plant. They're killed. When you're using glyphosate and atrazine and all these other heavy-duty pesticides, and there are so many pesticides, it's mind-boggling to me how many there are out there. These are poisons designed to kill our cells. They kill bugs, they kill us. And you think, oh, well, I get like there's an acute poisoning and then there's a slow death poisoning. Yeah, that's where you eat little amounts every single day. And most Americans, that is what they're being forced to do. You should be so mad. You should be so mad about the birth defects, the autism, the cancer in our kids. I listened to one lady today, you know, that over in Salinas, you know, that worked in a school, and her students are getting weird cancers because they're spraying all around there. The schools aren't even alerted when they're going to spray. They're supposed to. If any of you listening to this have a farm anywhere close to the school where your children go to, you better like wake up, because I have been going over the pesticides that are being used around these schools on the farms that are located right across the street from them. And the side effects of these pesticides are horrific. For example, one being used in citrus orchards, it actually messes up the whole puberty cycle. It attacks the girl's ovaries. It's going to limit their ability to reproduce and get pregnant. We're doing this to our teenagers. Okay, that is just one example of many, because they are using multiple pesticides, and they're spraying this right across the street from schools. You should be fired up and pissed off. And you should be asking questions on why they're doing this. We want to make a difference. Smart Health Talk has been on the air 6.5 years. We have interviewed scientist after scientist, nonprofit after nonprofit, people out there fighting this fight, trying to make it so we have access to healthy, safe food free of poison. And so we wanted to do something about it. We wanted to start in our own backyard. So we said, okay, we actually live right in the middle of a blue zone. That is where I live, a blue zone. There's only 6 in the world. It's supposed to be a healthy place. And I think it used to be, because the people were eating vegetarian, you know, nice, healthy environment over there in Loma Linda. Not anymore. Loma Linda, the whole medical center, university are spraying Roundup all around their properties. I live in the middle of it. I'm getting it from all sides. They have hospitals all around me, and they're spraying Roundup. And that drift is coming onto my house and exposing me. And now I have been having to fight a thyroid problem. And I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. I have been, instead of taking their synthetic 50,000 unit vitamin D, which just sounded insane to me since 800 units per day is the average amount, putting that kind of burden on my liver, there are so many drugs that we are now coming back and they are saying warnings about these drugs, including the antacids. So the Tums, okay, and the purple pill and all these other drugs that they're making that are like neutralizing your acid, big time problems, okay? And statins. They're prescribing statins to everybody. Well, guess what? It's now being associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. Statins are, if you are on statin drugs right now or have a loved one on statin drugs, I really encourage you to go type in statin drugs and Alzheimer's, statin drugs and dementia, and you will see there is new research showing that, you know, these statin drugs are causing Alzheimer's and dementia. Cholesterol is an important part of your brain. When you're blocking the cholesterol, you could be blocking the cholesterol for your brain. People think, oh, they have been telling us lie after lie after lie. And I am a dietitian, and I am furious. I would have never been against the egg yolk. They told everyone the egg yolk causes you to have a heart attack. Lie. Change their mind. Oh, you know, maybe we had that wrong. The egg yolk's not bad. How could they go from this huge campaign to get all these people to throw their egg yolks away? Then they try to tell you that all this cholesterol is so bad. Well, I eat grass-fed, organic beef, sun-fed ranch, which is available at Gerard's everywhere. I got to give them a plug because I love this company and they support them. 150 years they have fed their cows nothing but grass, no hormones, no nothing else. How are these other cattle people raising their cows? And the dairy? GMOs. GMOs, cottonseed. Cottonseed has the worst of the worst pesticide on it, and you're eating all of this stuff. They're giving them hormones. We have to don't believe everything that you're hearing here. Tune into Smart Health Talk. Let me go through everything and filter it and research it and check it out for you. Listen to our podcasts. Those are full of truth. The truth that you don't get from mainstream media. The things that they don't want you to know because they want you to keep buying this crap. And that is what it is. It is worthless food. It is highly processed. They process it so much they have to add synthetic nutrients to it to try and get the nutrients back that they took out. And they take them out to extend the shelf life. Now, I was telling you about antioxidants. When the plant is stressed, when it feels like it's being attacked, it makes antioxidants. When you spray pesticides, you have now taken that completely off the table. The plant is not under that situation. It is not growing normally. And so it is not making antioxidants. Take the Arctic apple. Perfect example. The pathway that causes browning is the same pathway that that creates antioxidants. So when you block that pathway, you're blocking the production of antioxidants. I just take that Arctic apple and just throw it in the friggin' trash. It's got pesticides on it. It's GMO. What the heck? I don't want that. I don't want it in my body. Nothing but the best for this body, and you need to get that attitude. Don't let these other people dictate to you what you are putting in your body, what you are going to choose to eat. And I'm telling you that fast food they have done so much to it. The chicken, they're growing it here in factory farms in the worst of the worst condition. Every time that you're buying that product, you are supporting factory farms. They kill it, freeze it, send it to China for processing, and then ship it back and sell it to you at Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's, Burger King, Carl's Jr., whatever. They are feeding these cows in factory farms. We are taking down the rainforest so everyone can have a friggin' hamburger. Think about eating more plant foods that come from organic plants that you buy from your local farm. Your local farmer's market is where you find them. I find so many incredible things there. If you join me on Instagram, find me, Smart Health Talk, Elaine McFadden. Please find me on social media, people. I love it when you come and join me. And I like learning about you, too. When people join me, I go and check out about them. I come and check out what you got. And a lot of times I'm reposting articles that I learn from the people that follow me. I learn from them as well. They come up with some really great education. And this is what we need to do. We need to be sharing information with each other because we are not getting it from mainstream media people. And if you're believing everything that they tell you, I was really, really glad that they talked about the drugs being the number one reason that people under 50 are dying, prescription drugs. This is such a huge problem. And I'll tell you, like the antioxidants, what do they do in your body? I just want to finish that. What it does when you have a cancer cell that has been exposed to free radicals, pesticides, all these other things, they're floating around in your body. It could start multiplying and turn into a tumor. You want to stop it. You do not want it going into a tumor. How do you stop it? An antioxidant does that. And it does it perfectly. Because what is wrong with that cancer cell? It's missing an electron. It needs an electron. And the antioxidant says, hey, you need an electron? No problemo. I got an electron for you right here. And it hands that electron over to that free radical and neutralizes it. It now cannot hurt you. Don't you want that? Don't you want that for your body? Don't you love your body? You've got to start loving your body and caring about yourself. You need to become foragers. Don't just go through the motions. Turn looking for your food into an adventure. Go to the farmer's market. Meet the great people down there. You're going to make new friends. The people down there are some of the greatest because they're all there for the same reason. They're there because they care about their body, they care about their family, they care about local farmers and want to support them instead of supporting big corporate. You have to do these things, people. And foraging for food is something that, hey, we know how to do that. Humans have been doing that for a long time. It's like the beginning, okay? And all of a sudden it kicks in. When you start going and exploring and finding new things that you never saw before, it's like that forager instinct starts kicking in. And you're like, yeah, this is exciting. I go to a couple of different farmers markets and I find different things at each one. I was like buying 10-year-old cheese. Oh man, it's like one little tiny bite was like an explosion of flavor. And it's like I could get satisfied. I could be satisfied with eating just a little bit of cheese because it had so much flavor. We're not satisfied because our food is full of artificial chemicals. And when I listened to that Vice story about how these Muslim countries are getting fat off our junk food chains, that all these are like American junk food chains that are all over there now. It's just, when I'm listening to them talk, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like totally verifying everything I've been saying. And you listen to them, they're like, oh, it's the taste, the flavor. Oh my gosh, I just love it so much. Well, that's because it was created in a laboratory. Yes, these are designer chemicals, people. Designer chemicals designed to go right to that addictive part of your brain. Just like those prescription drugs, which people they're willing to die to get. We lost some of the most incredible artists because of these friggin' prescription drugs. And that the last musician that died, I mean, it's such an incredible musician. I can't remember his name, but I know people that are just huge fans and say he had like the best voice ever. He was on a drug that creates suicide thoughts. These drugs are so scary. And like what they do is they get into your brain, they say, oh, you don't need to make serotonin anymore. That's okay. We're now going to start supplying the serotonin, okay? We got some synthetic serotonin here. We don't need you producing serotonin anymore. And so what happens is your body stops manufacturing serotonin. So when you try to get off that drug, you are going through some bad withdrawals because you need that serotonin. You need it to feel good. You need it to sleep. And your body stopped making it. And it may not even like go back to making it the way that it did before. New research is starting to show that. It may not even do that. I actually had a guest who was a doctor, researcher, and I asked him, hey, when you take these drugs, do they change your brain forever? And they do. They change your brain forever. Now, I told you we're trying to make a difference here. We've got live in a blue zone. We started the Blue Monarch Project. Please go to our website, everybody. Please, please, please. BlueMonarchProject.com. That's where you find it, Blue Monarch Project. And that's because we love monarchs. We used to have millions of them here. And now I'm lucky if I ever even see one. Because these... Wow. Okay. And, sorry, we had some background noise there, everybody. I don't even know where the heck that came from. Okay. We love monarchs. We want to stop killing them. Sorry, got a dry throat. It's out in the heat today. Give me a sec. We are killing so many beautiful, wonderful insects. We act like all insects are bad. They are not. They bring us pleasure. The monarchs are so exceptional. And we're just killing everything. Just to kill a weed. Bend down and pull it up. Get a shovel. Get a rake. Get there. There's a one tool that like you just kind of go along the ground and it just like pulls them up. We don't have to use these pesticides. You have a choice, and I'm asking you, please don't do it. Don't use it. Don't expose your family. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again because I know that's like the number. If I can get you to stop doing that, I have now changed your life. I have now reduced your risk of cancer, and that's my job. And I take it very seriously because this is life and death we're talking about here. You want to live? You need to try harder. You need to support organic farmers, buy organic, because their produce, the new study came out, it has way more nutrition, more antioxidants. We've had another study by Dr. Benbrook that showed higher vitamin C and other nutrients, higher level, and it just makes sense, of course, because the soil is so good at making nutrition. We're adding the minimum. to keep the plant alive. That's it. Not all the extra stuff that a plant has the potential to put into it if it's there in the soil for them to pull from. But when you have a soil that's like lifeless, devoid of nutrition in these microbes that are like little manufacturing plants, they're pulling carbon from the air, reversing climate change, locking it in the soil so it becomes a high carb diet for the rest of the microbes there, and they're eating it like candy. They're making nutrients for the plant. The plant's all healthy. And I tell you, we got hot weather out here, boy, and what you want to do is what happens actually with organic farming, much better root system, more organic matter that acts like a sponge, holds that water in place. We're not wasting water. And when you're watering your plants, everyone, it's better to do the super soak, leave the hose on low, really low, for a longer period of time, and you will create deeper roots. And that means that plant will be able to live on less water. It's better to water longer, slower, deeper. Shoot, I'm just talking about plants, everybody. It's like, it may sound like I'm talking about something else. Now I'm talking about plants. I was trying to catch myself there, like, what are you saying? Like, so, anyway, we have, this is what happens when you water, put it on a really slow, kind of a drip kind of a thing over a long period of time. That's why drip systems work. Not just out there, and water in the morning and the evening, not in the middle of the day, because it evaporates before the plant can even get it and you're wasting water. And I see sprinklers on in the middle of the day that, I'm just like, why are they doing that? Why would you put the sprinkler on in the middle of the day? That is the absolute worst time to be watering. So please don't do that. We all need to be saving water. And I have, if you tune in to KCAA or you watch our video, you'll be able to see what I have here in front of me. I have our Blue Monarch Project sign, but along there I have I call it my eggshell garden. And they're so adorable. I use little succulents and different plants, and I use that as a fundraiser because we are trying to get money for mailings and to have conferences to be educating people on what's going on with the pesticides and that. So we really need some help and support, everyone. And just to have this show on the air, it all costs money, and we could really use some help. So we have a donate button on our Blue Monarch Project page if you want to buy milkweed, which if you tune in, you'll see we have a milkweed plant right there too. And those we need to plant massive amounts of milkweed. That is one of the #1 things we need to do to bring back the monarchs. And that's a milkweed plant right there. It's tropical milkweed, and they do love that, and they will lay their eggs on it. And I had lots of caterpillars last year until the state came and sprayed and killed everything. Scientists said I shouldn't say that, but I'm saying it anyway because I know that's the way it happened. And I didn't see any more monarchs for the rest of the year after that. And I had all kinds before that. So something happened, and I know the state came and sprayed. It had to be something major. And this milkweed is not our native milkweed. It is our goal for Blue Monarch Project to start growing lots and lots and lots of native milkweed plants. That's what we want to be doing, and getting them out there, getting people planting them. And you may think, oh, Elaine, I don't want to plant some weed. Well, I'll tell you, it's beautiful, for one thing. You get to see all the great pollinators come and visit it and just have a heyday. And plus, I did all this research, and it turns out that milkweed is just kind of a neutral weed. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not like people are developing pesticides to get rid of milkweed. No, it's an innocent plant. It doesn't take from other plants that it's growing around, or crops. So you can have plenty of milkweed growing in between your crops, attracting pollinators and butterflies and helping your crops. at the same time, and the milkweed isn't doing anything to hurt the other crops. So we want to grow lots and lots of milkweed. We want to be able to like walk outside and see a butterfly flying by. I do have a swallowtail that keeps visiting me, and I was so excited this week. I saw a dragonfly, a red dragonfly. I was so excited to see that in my garden. I want to see more, though. I mean, I used to see all kinds when I was growing up. Those little, they're called skippers or something, butterflies. I'll see a few, but nothing like it was before. We can change this, and we change it with our dollars and what companies we support and how we spend our money. When we keep giving our money to these corporations that don't care about us, that are, like Cheerios, for example, General Mills, they're all like, oh, what people kept hounding them over and over, take those GMOs, out of the Cheerios. Well, they did, but it's still full of glyphosate, that cancer-causing pesticide. And it's, I wouldn't feed it to my kid. No way. Nature's Path organic cereal. They make all kinds of different cereal, kids cereals and Biro Kids. Please go for Nature's Path and they are a family-owned company. They've been around for 40 years. They've been tried to buy out by Kellogg's and General Mills and them over and over again. And it's not because they want them to get bigger and expand it. They want to make them go away because they make so much more profit margin off their cheap products subsidized by taxpayers to grow GMO corn and soy and all these other products that they're using. They get it cheap. Why would they want to buy organic and reduce their profit margins? They'll never be for organic. They may buy organic companies, but mainly their goal is not necessarily to make it bigger. And even when they bought Annie's used to be organic. You go now on General Mills, they have introduced all kinds of non-organic Annie's products. Yeah, they have a couple of new organic ones, but the thing is, they're muddying the water. They make people think that everything is organic from Annie's, and it's not. And so they get people to buy that higher profit margin product. So don't think that these companies are for you. Monsanto lied about every friggin' other product that they bought, that they've made. PCPs, DDT, that aspartame. Aspartame, there were people that said, over my dead body, you'll ever be allowed to put that in food. But they just said, oh, well, watch us, because we'll get our guy in as one of the lead key decision makers on this, and we'll get it through. And they did. And if you're using that, if you're drinking artificial sweeteners, they make you fat. They make you fat because they trick your body into thinking that you've eaten something when you didn't. And it releases insulin into your body because that sweet taste on your tongue tells your brain, and your brain tells your pancreas, and it releases insulin. And so you got all this insulin, and there's no sugar to take it up. This is like, this is not how our bodies were taught to work. I wanted to talk about, let's see. I kind of wanted to talk about some of the things I had here on my Twitter account. I do spend a lot of time on Twitter. I enjoy it. I find a lot of good articles there, and I get a lot of response on Twitter. One of the things that I had read about was that quails eat ticks. Then I read another article on how we're killing quails with pesticides. See how we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. Quails eat ticks, and the thing is, Lyme disease is a horrible disease. It lingers on for months and months. If you watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you probably know, because that one lady was on there that had Lyme disease, Ella and Bella Hadad's mother. And, this goes on for months and months. It's a horrible, horrible disease. Costs mucho dollars. in healthcare. But the quails eat the ticks, but we're killing the quails. And there's even like another fowl this lady told me about. Shoot, I have it on my Facebook. I can't remember what it was like. Oh, God, some sort of a fowl, a guinea fowl or something like that. And it does even other things that are great. So, you know, why aren't we spending money on, you know, more quails, more of these guinea fowls, and releasing them into open areas? And quails are so cute. Oh, I love those little quail families walking around. They got that little dingly thing on their forehead. It's so cute. We used to have all these figurines of quails in my house because we lived in a place where they had lots of quails in Northern California. So, you know, we're focusing on the wrong things. And if you listen to our broadcasts from the 30th and the 13th, go find those podcasts on KCAA, everyone. Just look for Tuesday, 4 o'clock. You can find me. All right. Or just type in Elaine McFadden, Smart Health Talk. You'll find me on KCAA too, and all my other social media. Please come and join me. You know, we are going about things the wrong way. People need to be telling the government we will only accept a healthcare system if it includes this, 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 and this. And they know that people are now smarter. Why do you think they're doing everything behind closed doors? Because people aren't stupid anymore. They can't just push this stuff through. We're not looking the other way. No, we're looking at them going, what are you doing? You're risking my life here, and you should be saying that. People without health care die without care when they need it. We are putting the lives of millions of people in this country at risk, and we're over bombing Syria, and we're trying to create war. When we should be looking after our people here. We talk about coal and all these other things. I actually spoke in Washington, D.C. at a hunger forum, the Mickey Leland Hunger Forum back in 1996, 1994, excuse me. And I was one of 6 people chosen in the country to represent every single person on food stamps. And I gave a speech, one of 6 people, and my main message was, when you give people a job, when they can get a job where they can make a decent living, they're not hungry anymore. You know, we talk about these coal miners and that. Why are we not retraining them? Why are we not allocating money to retrain these people? We have programs in a year you can be making $50 an hour at the junior college. Why are we not doing this? Why are we not creating more prevention programs? Prevention saves billions and billions of dollars when we prevent disease. Please listen to Zach on the 30th and the 15th. I'm going to be putting that on YouTube. I'm working on editing it right now. And I'll be getting that up, and I'll be posting it on my social media. So if you go, join me, subscribe to me on YouTube, join me on social media, you're going to be right on top of that. But not just that. Start following me. You're going to be right on top of everything else, because that's all I do. I am searching every single day. I am reading article after article. Other people don't have the time for this. Let me help you. Let me educate you. And please, I hope you're going to be tuning in to Smart Health Talk every single Tuesday at 4 o'clock, because it's education that is the key to saving this planet. And organic farming reverses climate change faster than anything we're going to do. If we think reducing fossil fuel is going to save us, forget it. Organic farming will pull the carbon out of our air and get us balanced again. And for those that think we don't have any climate change problem, yeah, we have a lot of carbon in the air right now, and it's not normal for us. 350 and we're at 410. Okay? And we're almost running out of I hope you enjoyed our show today. I I tried to give you guys some new information. There's never enough time to say everything I want to say, but I really want to thank you for tuning in and staying with us. I got so much more out there. If you go find our website and all the other stuff, you'll be able to get some more information. But I'm going to go home and water my plants and eat some really healthy food from the farmer's market. So I want that for you too. And you just got to work a little bit at it, just a little bit, and it might actually bring you pleasure. And I know the good tasting food will bring you pleasure because that's what you're going to find from your local farmers, some really good stuff. And hey, KCAA, that's the place to be, I'll tell you, right here at KCAA. So please keep that dial tuned right to us because we got lots more coming up, okay? And this is Elaine McFadden from Smart Health Talk saying, buy organic.
Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. The final Obamacare health insurer selling individual policies throughout the state of Iowa has submitted a request for a staggering 43.5% increase in premiums next year. Medica says the unheard of increase is necessary for it to remain doing business in the Hawkeye state. On Wall Street, the big driver today was the price of oil, which fell to a 9-month low, sending energy company shares down. With that, the Dow lost 62 points, the Nasdaq was off by 51, and crude ending just above $43 a barrel. Shares of Sprint were higher on renewed talks of a possible merger with rival T-Mobile. Ford says it'll build a new Ford Focus plant in China, saying it'll save $1 billion on costs. Blowout earnings after the bell from FedEx, netting $1 billion in profit last quarter. And Facebook-owned Instagram says its Stories feature has 250 million active daily users, more than Snapchat. CNBC.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-445-6363. That's 1-800-445-6363. 1-800-445-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
NBC News Radio, I'm Tom Roberts. President Trump is condemning the brutality of the North Korean regime. Trump tweeted today that the U.S. continues to mourn the latest victim of North Korea. That's a reference to the death of American college student Otto Warmbier. White House spokesman Sean Spicer says the U.S. and allies will continue putting economic and political pressure on North Korea.
We've had, I think, positive movement on China over the past 5 months of this administration, and we'll continue to work with them and others to put the appropriate pressure on North Korea to change this behavior.
Meanwhile, Spicer says President Trump clearly wants a health care bill that has heart. The president has been reported as saying the House health care bill is mean. The Senate is now working on its own bill. Today's explosion at Brussels Central train station is being considered as a terrorist attack by Belgium's federal prosecutor. A suspect was neutralized by soldiers, although it's unclear if he was killed. Euro News editor James Franey says the situation could have been much worse.
Would have been pretty busy with people finishing their working day and heading back to other parts of Belgium throughout the course of the evening.
There were no reported injuries to civilians in the incident. The polls are closing in a closely watched special election in Georgia. Both Democrats and Republicans are looking to see if a House seat which has gone red for decades will turn blue. Democrat John Ossoff is challenging the GOP's Karen Handel. This woman was among many who voted today.
Because there's been so much publicity and there's been a lot of, campaign and a little slander on each side. And I think the real issue is that people need to get out and vote.
The top cop in L.A. backs California's so-called sanctuary state bill. The bill would prevent California law enforcement officers from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. Police in Argentina say they've seized a huge stash of Nazi artifacts. That after a raid at a home in Buenos Aires where a secret room was found. Everything from busts of Adolf Hitler to Nazi-themed children's games and medical instruments were discovered. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Are you thirsty for books that will fill your soul with wisdom, joy, and inspiration? Then take a refreshing and nourishing drink at Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore, located in the heart of the Agape International Spiritual Center in Culver City, which incidentally was recently featured on The Today Show. From aromatic soy candles to best-selling authors like Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith and a whole host of other visionaries, Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore has everything to soothe your body, spirit, and soul. For more info and directions, visit agapelive.com today.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here with some important information about debt, your debt. Whether you have a first or second mortgage, you're looking to buy or refi a home or rental property, or just need to consolidate your credit cards to lower your payments and save some serious interest, you need to do some loan financial planning with Steve Alladort, my mortgage man, at loanfinancialplanner.com. Now, Steve's not your garden variety mortgage broker. He actually spends time evaluating how you can use the current super competitive interest rates to pay off your mortgage early, purchase a rental property, improve your cash flow, upgrade to your dream home, or even help your kids or grandkids get into a house. That's what loan financial planning is all about. Steve's been helping me and my listeners for over 2 decades, and I can tell you he is the best finance guy in the business. Go to loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Or call Steve Alladort at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station for the Inland Empire.
Welcome to the Sports Circus from fabulous Las Vegas, sunny Southern California, Honolulu, Hawaii, Phoenix, Arizona, Buffalo, and Toronto, New York, and also Memphis, Tennessee. Man, we are everywhere, folks. Today's show is brought to you by the American Business Trust Company, specializing in startup consulting, sales and marketing, corporate strategy, and investment capital. Visit them online at trustco.com or call 657-600-1876 for all your business needs. Tell them Kid Dynamite sent you. I think we got Kid Dynamite in the house today. Yes, we do! Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. And we're also here with co-host Long Beach Lenny, Bronco Billy Wright, and producer Jim, what did we call you earlier?
Crocodile Dundee.
Colonel Tough Guy. No. We know Crocodile Dundee. We don't do Australian anything in this place.
Colonel Tough Guy.
Colonel Tough Guy. That's it. Colonel Tough Guy.
Colonel Tough Guy. Okay.
Colonel Tough Guy today. All righty then.
Love Bill Murray.
Okay. So we got some baseball, huh, Lenny?
We do, guys. We have some baseball. Good day to everybody out there. Guys, teamwork in any sport is a must. Cheering on your teammates is a necessity. I mean, you need to do that. You need a shot in the arm. What you don't need, Sal, that we talked about today, is Matt Scherzer. Sure, this guy is lights out. But let me tell you something. He is not the household name on the Nationals. We know that is the man with the locks, and that is Bryce Harper. But yesterday, Harper goes and hits a home run. He hits it off the top of the wall, and if you guys don't know, the Marlins are reconstructing their wall right now. They're making it a little higher. They're reconfiguring it to bring it in a little bit. So they brought it in a few feet and a little bit taller, and the ball hit the top of the wall, and they went back to the replay, and the umpire went ahead and called it a home run. Well, Bryce Harper's in the dugout, and you hear audibly through ESPN, you hear Matt Scherzer say, this ball